You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building, Luda.
What up, man?
Welcome back, bro.
Thanks for having a Negro, a light-skinned Negro at that.
Oh, well, we already got one that we got to deal with every day.
I see.
Right.
So what's,
And what's
better than one beige nigga?
And we always have some type of beef with light-skinned guys when they come up here.
Luda's the homie. What you
Okay,
talking
good.
about?
I just want to make sure.
Oh, no, it ain't no beef.
He's
Ain't no beef.
Luda's my guy.
He's here to promote Fear Factor, which comes out this Sunday
Yeah, man.
at 7 p.m.
Season 2. We got renewed. You know, that don't happen often.
Especially on MTV.
Exactly. That's why we here, man. We gotta talk about it. We gotta gloat about this. It's real.
Well, before we talk about that, I have to ask you one thing, and I've been thinking this in my mind for the longest.
Okay.
Did you and Tyrese really get offered a Fast and Furious spinoff movie and turned it down?
Man, that is such a great question. And the answer to that question is absolutely not.
Why would Tyrese make up such a goddamn lie?
Hey, man, listen, it's that's my brother. So sometimes when he puts things out there, it's okay for me to just, retract certain statements and give it from my perspective and state the facts. An offer is something that's written down and someone actually gives it to you as an official offer.
Correct.
Now, there were talks about a spinoff. We had numerous discussions about it. I remember us putting out on Instagram, putting out on social media, what would y'all think about, there being a Tej and Roman spinoff, and everybody was replying to it, and we think that would be great. But the answer to your question is no, there was no official spinoff.
So maybe he put
Offer.
it in the atmosphere because sometimes we do that. Just put it out there and.
Oh, he said the drugs had him a little off, so maybe it was the same routine. The drugs had him a little off.
And you would
He
have
was
to ask him that question when he comes back up here, because I would love for him to show y'all proof of an actual offer to us, because I could be wrong. You know what I mean?
You could be wrong.
Sometimes when you answer these questions, you have to understand this is from my perspective.
Got you.
And I'm almost 100% positive that we absolutely did not get an offer. I don't know. Maybe my management can back me up on this.
No.
I don't think that there was an official offer.
Jeff turned
What's
it down.
what's your relationship with Tyrese now? Are y'all still great?
Another great
Does he
question.
used to ride the bike by his house?
He's a little upset that y'all didn't have his back when he was going to hit the rock.
Oh my
man.
goodness.
You
Listen,
didn't have his back either.
Let me
Charlamagne.
tell you something. As a friend that's concerned, I did everything in my power to try to tell him that I felt like how he was handling things was done in the wrong way. I felt like his anger, I felt like his frustration was misguided, for a better word. When you are saying that this man should have just said no to a spinoff, or you're saying that just because he said this or he did this is the reason why our movie is getting pushed back, I told Tyrese to his face, I felt like you are giving this individual too much credit. I feel like it's not Dwayne Johnson that's putting up $150 million or $200 million of his own money and saying, I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm going to shoot this movie. If you're going to question somebody, you have to question everybody that's involved with making this movie happen. You can't just direct all of your attention towards this one individual. I mean, who would, let's just say, if somebody came to, what's the guy that plays Tony Stark's Iron Man? My man, Robert Downey Jr. You can't come to him and say, this Avengers movie is cool, but we want you to do a spinoff. And then him say, nah, I don't want to take away from the Avengers, so I don't want to do this individual movie. So you can't go to Chadwick Boseman and say, we don't want you to do Black Panther because it's going to take away from. All of these things are going to help out the franchise, in my opinion, again. And so to answer your question on that, we are brothers at a very strong disagreement right now.
Okay.
And I can honestly say that. And I mean, and again, here's the thing. This is nothing that can't be reconciled. It's not anything that should cause alarm as I'm sitting up here talking about these things, because he's openly talked about them himself.
Absolutely.
But everybody kind of needs a retreat every now and then. Everybody needs to detoxify. Everybody needs a break, Angela Yee is on a detox right now and on a cleanse.
She said you look like a chicken finger right now.
Do you think?
So listen, man, it's like everybody needs a break, man. I just feel like we taking a much needed break just to kind of understand and really just dive deep into what the hell the disagreement is all about, and to get the facts.
Do you think Tyrese challenging The Rock to a fight is a Fear Factor challenge?
I don't think that's a Fear Factor challenge. I mean, that could be a challenge for live television if both comply, if both want to do it, but I definitely don't think that's a Fear Factor challenge. That's one thing we have not done, is have people fight. And you were supposed to come on, man. What happened?
He's scared.
I don't know what happened. I really don't.
He
I was supposed to come on in
roller coasters,
February.
so
I don't know
he's
what
scared of
happened.
everything.
Yeah,
I would've did
it's all good. We're going to have to do it again.
Now, if The Rock says Tyrese could not be in this movie, right? And they take Tyrese out the movie, are you still going to do the movie?
Now, which movie are you talking about? The spinoff, or are you talking about
Fast and Furious?
Fast and Furious? I don't personally think that is The Rock's decision to make.
Yeah,
when it comes to the Fast and Furious franchise.
The Rock is such a big person on that movie, and the way they were going back and forth at each other. The Rock says, you know what? I don't want to be in this movie.
I'm not going to do it.
If he's in it. Because he can, right?
Right, but here's the thing. As he's doing this spinoff, The Rock is doing it, I think he's taking on a whole new life of his own. I'm not even sure how that's going to work out with, supposedly we're supposed to shoot 2 more Fast and Furious movies. So 9 and 10, and it's supposed to end at 10. I'm not sure the future of everything going on, but I do understand that The Rock is supposed to do his own spinoff. Mm-hmm. So I understand you saying that this hypothetical situation you're talking about, but I'm like,
if Tyrese is not asked back, will you still continue to do it?
If he's not asked back, would I continue to do it? Man, that's a challenging one because it is. It depends on all the factors involved. You know what I mean? That's a hard one. Because I can say me and him disagree on certain things, but in terms of, it's still my brother.
You still have loyalty.
Understand this, that's still my brother. Anything that I'm talking about here. And, like I said, we may be at an impasse right now, but at the end of the day, that's still my brother.
They replace Tyrese with Kevin Hart. Terrence J, them your brothers too.
Right. I don't think they're gonna do that.
If that's your brother, he should want you to go and get what you got to get. Also, I would say.
Hey man, listen, I don't know. He has some strong beliefs,
right,
which allows me to have some strong beliefs as well. And again, sometimes family goes through that. We all know that.
Absolutely.
We all have issues. We all go through things, and hopefully you come back even stronger with a better understanding, and it makes your bond even stronger. So I'm hoping that's what happens.
This is my final question about Tyrese. Did you agree with anything he said?
Okay, when you say anything, you gotta remind me about everything.
In reference to Fast and Furious and how y'all are a brotherhood and like the Rock shouldn't do a spinoff.
I pretty much just stated how I felt about that. I feel like there's no reason why The Rock should not do a spinoff.
Got you.
Because I feel like that would be the beginning of many spinoffs, which would in turn. We would get an official offer for us to do a spinoff.
So it's not disrespectful to Paul Walker's legacy or anything like that?
I honestly don't feel like it was disrespectful to that. And I'm looking at the grand scheme of things. I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Gotcha.
So when y'all are asking me these specific questions, it's not that I'm not trying to answer them in the best way, form, or fashion. I'm looking at it as in I feel like there's a bigger picture involved for all of us to win at the end. And that's why I was so concerned. Like, that's really what it was. It's concern for a friend of him and the way he was going about handling things, that it got to a point where I had to remove myself from the situation because I was so mad. And you can only want but so much for someone, you know what I'm saying, than they want for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I was concerned that the way he was going about things, that he may have jeopardized future work for himself in Hollywood and having people scared of being able to work with this individual because how he's handling things. So that was my main concern. And I'm like damn near yelling at him, like, I don't want you to not be able to feed your family. And that was his biggest thing. I'm not going to be able to, you know what I mean, with my daughter and all these other things. And I'm like, well, you about to mess up future things for yourself. And if you care that deeply about somebody, then you're going to be that emotional about it. And that's why I had to, like, remove myself.
The only reason I asked you because he said to ask you. He specifically said ask Ludacris.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that he did that because, listen, man, I'm the type of person that it's like I will reveal certain things, but only if someone has already kind of spoken about it. I'm not about to just give you new information when I have that type of bond with somebody.
Now, we had comedian Jeff Ross up here. And he said he wanted to apologize. No joking. He was serious. He wanted to apologize for the celebrity roast, and he said he seen you at a wedding one time, and he just felt like you weren't trying to receive his apologies.
Damn right. You know what? And that's good that he apologized because what he said about Paul Walker, and then what he said afterwards, as if he was trying to, he was trying to make excuses for what he said. It's good to hear him say that he apologized because I didn't take those jokes. I didn't like that at all. Making fun of somebody in a situation and where they died in the car crash and all that, I feel like there's a line that needs to be drawn at some point, and that's how I felt. And he's right about that. When I saw him at that wedding, it was Marco Andretti's wedding, my friend, and when I saw him there, I didn't give him good energy. I don't know if y'all know, man. I'm just one of those people that listen, this is an industry where y'all all know, and I've heard you talk about it before, Envy. This is an industry where people will act like everything is cool when you see them in person. Yeah. And then they'll get on this microphone, or they'll get somewhere on stage, or they'll get on a record, and it'll be something totally different. There's one thing, and nobody in this industry can say anything different about me. I'm going to talk to you the same way that I might say on a record or on this microphone.
All right, keep
Period.
that same energy
Period.
at all times.
That's 100%. I can't. That's just how I am, man. I got to stay true to myself.
I got in trouble for something like that. It was a radio personality who we was at a Colin Kaepernick Know Your Rights camp event.
Yeah.
And he wanted to take a picture. I'm like, no. Keep that same energy. You talk shit about me any other time, I don't care.
I love that.
No.
I love that.
No, and then later on he was like, well, I only wanted to take a picture with him because it was for the kids. I didn't know that, but even if I did know that, I still wouldn't have took the picture with you.
I love it. How the hell did my name come up when Jeff Ross was up here?
I asked him about
Yeah.
Oh, you asked him about it. All right, yeah. He's just doing your job. He's supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do.
Now, the Super Bowl coming to Atlanta.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that.
Bruno Mars was tweeting the NFL. He said Atlanta hip-hop stars should perform at halftime. What do you think about that?
I agree. You know, and I was having this conversation with some people, and I was like, I had to look at the history of the people that have performed on the Super Bowl, and there have not. I can't recall there being a rapper that headlined. There may have been a rapper that featured.
Yeah, Nelly was on
that
one
came
year.
out during somebody's
Right,
performance.
but you got to think about it like this. Whoever's making those decisions, I almost feel like their thoughts are, we can't trust these niggas because this is live television, and we don't know what they're going to say. But I'm here to let you know, if you give me that opportunity, I promise not to do anything ludicrous, for lack of a better word.
Well, you and JD have to. I mean, you got the Atlanta theme music.
Yeah.
Welcome to Atlanta. Like, it has to be something in that building.
I almost feel like even if they get Usher or anybody and you just bring all the Atlanta artists out, I'm 100% behind that campaign. Now that you brought it up on the Breakfast Club, I feel like we need to start
campaign.
campaign.
Hashtag let's
Let's get all of that. Let's get that going right
Bruno
now,
Mars said he'll
immediately.
That would be one of the most exciting halftime shows.
I think so.
This last year, it wasn't really that thrilling for me. Usually, like, I'm not that into watching the Super Bowl like that,
Right.
but I will stay and watch the halftime show. That's what I care about.
So what do you think about the halftime show?
I wasn't that excited by it.
See,
It was just
I liked
regular.
it.
Yeah, it wasn't whack.
It was
It was just
okay,
regular.
I
but
thought it was good.
It wasn't
I
that
thought it
exciting.
was
That was
good.
all right. It
But you got to
wasn't
think,
great.
Beyonce bought out Destiny's Child one year.
I
Katy
like that
Perry
one.
bought out Missy.
Right.
It was
People was
missing a
mad he
moment.
didn't bring out anybody.
If Janet
but-
brought out Janet, everybody loved it. That
Yeah.
one little thing, bring out Janet. Oh my God, it was the best performance ever.
What I just say about them people that make the decisions.
Yeah.
If he did something once, they definitely not gonna let him try that again.
Yeah.
Period.
Now let's
Trust.
get back to Fair
Live,
Facts.
live television.
No, Wendy Williams basically said none of the hip hop stars in Atlanta are big enough to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, which I
Okay.
thought was
That's not true.
ludicrous.
That's definitely
That's
not true.
ludicrous.
That's not true.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Probably the most watched
I don't even
halftime
know what to
show
say to that.
ever.
Listen.
And she even named. She said Outkast. I'm like, Outkast is like the
Oh, my
biggest
gosh.
group in the world.
Gotta
At
be
least
kidding
top
me on
3.
that. Now I would love if Outkast did that. That would be
Outkast had
amazing.
crossover hits. Luda had crossover hits.
She
There's so many people.
named Little John. I'm like, Little John.
Yeah,
White people
crossover hits.
love Little John.
100% they love him. I mean, that would be great if we could do something like that.
Ski
Whoever
days.
makes those decisions, we need to hold them accountable. We need to holler at them. Make sure we understand who those people are. My bad, we had
Oh yeah, so
interrupted
let's go
Miss
back
Yee
to
over
Fair.
here.
Let's get back to Fair Factor.
Yeah.
Because would you do any of those challenges?
Absolutely, but they won't allow me to do them. I don't know if it's liability
Definitely
issues. I don't know if
liability.
it's insurance things, but a lot of those stunts. Now, let me just keep it clear. Part of the reason that I even signed on to do this is because this is a part of my personality. Like, I'm a thrill seeker. I love doing things like that, watching stuff like that firsthand. And, man, I just love to have fun. And it's exciting. It's especially exciting to see individuals that I know taking on these challenges because we had so many episodes that are extremely entertaining, but, we can talk about that later. But to answer your question, yes, where I draw the line is where you have to, like, eat or drink adverse,
Yes, I can't do
things.
that.
That's the only thing that I absolutely I cannot do.
What's the craziest thing you've done in your life?
The craziest thing I've done, probably jumping out of a plane twice,
Skydiving?
doing that, skydiving. But
You said twice?
Yeah, 2 times.
Why'd you do
And
it
one
twice?
of them was here in New York State.
Wow.
I loved it. One time was in Hawaii, and that was the greatest ever because obviously while you floating, you see in the island, you see in the water, everything. It was beautiful. It was during the Pro Bowl because I loved it so much. The first time, I wanted to do that shit again.
And what'd you do at Hamptons out in Long Island?
Where was we at? Something like that. It was Catskills.
And you did that after having kids? Like, I did the first time, and then I thought about it after I was up there. Like, I got kids.
He looked at a
So I-
bunch
no,
of,
no,
he
I
looked at
had
a bunch
one.
of YouTube videos where
Yeah.
it didn't go so well.
Right. This is when I had just Karma. So my oldest now. I did that.
You would do it again?
I would do it again.
Why though? Like, what does it do
Because
for
that's
you?
just, hey man, it reminds you of how beautiful life is. Like it's hard for me to put into words, but people that are thrill seekers, that are really just adrenaline junkies, it's something that flows through your veins, and it's just, look, he's shaking his head. Yeah, he know. Either it's for you or it's not for you. It's just like there's nothing I could do to explain if that's not something that you would want to do.
It's like knowing that you might die makes you appreciate life.
100%.
Got you.
Now that can be looked at as completely ludicrous as well. However, for the crazy people like myself, I absolutely love it. So that's part of the reason why I love doing this Fear Factor so much. This is just another piece of the art that I'm adding to the resume. You know what I mean? Y'all getting that TV money as well. It's like the music, it's the movies, and now we get to, it's like art is like a tree, and we got all these limbs and branches, so I'm just completing my tree where music is the base of it. And this is something that I absolutely love doing, especially watching, people. They told us we're not supposed to really talk about the upcoming episodes where we have celebrities involved yet, but those are some of the most entertaining ones as well, and that's coming up soon.
Have you ever been in a haunted house?
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
just
plenty
happened
of
to
time.
stay at one and seen a ghost or something crazy happen to you?
You mean,
She mean
oh,
like
you
a
talking
real
about a
haunted
real
house.
haunted
Yeah,
house?
like a real one.
I have not. I have
Never
not.
seen a ghost or anything supernatural happen?
I haven't, man, but it's like those times where you think you might have saw something, but it wasn't so direct that you're like 100%. I actually got a chance. I was just telling Charlamagne I read his book, and I thought it was amazing, and he's in there talking about some supernatural things going on, and he was positively sure about what he saw.
100%.
And so it was intriguing to me because I was like thinking back on my own experiences, and I was like, damn, I wonder, was I that sure, when I saw those things, but I really wasn't. Sometimes, you think you're dreaming, you might be a little tired, you might be high, you know what I mean? You might be a little drugged up, but I guess, I don't know.
So what did you see that you think you saw?
Those times, I think I might have saw a ghost, but here's the thing. It's like those times where you're in between that sleep stage where it's like you're not at REM yet, but you're still halfway awake. And sometimes you wake up and you be like, did I just,
So you
that
was in
type
the
of
bed?
thing. Yeah,
And you saw something just in the room.
absolutely. Or those times where you in the bed and you kind of feel like you stuck and you can't move. Everybody's had that
Yeah,
experience.
we've all had that.
So
It's
those
something
types
about
of
the hag. You call
experience.
it the hag. or
The
something?
hag.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the hag.
maybe you can shed some light on this situation.
Well, they say it's sleep,
Help us
they say
understand.
it's sleep paralysis, but it's in the South we call it the hag. Like the hag.
Right,
is
right.
Same feeling you just described, but I've seen it in my peripheral vision. Like
Your
I've
what
opened my
vision?
eyes.
Your what
What did I
vision?
say? Peripheral?
Okay.
Parental.
Right.
Peripheral. You know what I mean?
Parental.
I've seen like the little black shadows dancing by my bed.
And you wasn't half asleep. You was 100% woke and you're 100% sure.
I mean, I don't know.
See? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You just never know. You just don't know. Damn it.
Now, when Lala was on Safe Word,
Here we go.
and she said she had an erotic dream about you.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when she said that?
My
thoughts were-
too.
You had a dream about Ludacris?
He's stupid.
That sounded wrong.
That's kind of crazy.
What I was doing just now,
Charlamagne, you said
I was
you
invoking
You
Ludacris.
masturbate to him too?
No.
You and Lala got something in common?
Shut
All
up,
right.
man. Y'all know what I meant.
I
Goddamn.
don't know what you meant.
Nah, that
This is awkward. This is awkward.
the person that did that lie detector test said I was lying about something that I knew wasn't true. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt to
Right.
answer your question. That's like my sister, man. We did radio together. We've known each other over 20 years. And so it was good for television.
Right.
It was good for entertainment,
Right.
which is a lot of things that we do are for the entertainment business, but I didn't really.
You gotta explain to your wife, like, listen, the lie detector test doesn't really work.
I didn't have to explain nothing. My wife already knows. That's like sis.
Did it make
she
it
knows
strange
that.
when you saw Mello again? Like,
Absolutely not.
Man.
Mello is family too, man. He knows what's up. Man, I know what high school this girl went to. Like, she went to Redan High School. Like, that's how far we go back. It ain't nothing like that. It's like sister and brother.
Word.
Yeah.
Do you think the music thing is behind you?
Absolutely not. I really feel like sometimes after 9 albums, after doing so much music, every artist has a time where they kind of need to take a step back, kind of to get inspired again. And I feel like I just was at this moment probably for the last couple years where I was really enjoying all of the success for working so hard for so many years. And I feel like the best music is yet to come. And that may sound like a politically correct statement or something that you're supposed to say, but I honestly believe that in that I'm starting to get inspired again. Like I've been with Nipsey, he's doing his run on promoting his album. And
Tough album.
He was in
Man,
Victory Lap.
it's like the Nipsey album, a lot of things that I'm hearing is just inspiring me. And I think that sometimes every artist goes through that stage where you kind of need that. And you got to take a step back and you got to be a fan for a second and just watch and remember what made you fall in love with things in the first place. Even like you had talked about, what keeps you grounded. And me get back in my Acura Legend and ride around from the times where when you were a kid and the things that got you excited. And that's kind of like that stage that I was in. And I also remember reading something about Erykah Badu where they were asking her about putting out music because she's one of my favorite artists. And she said something about, well, I'm uploading right now. I'm finding my truth.
When she's inspired.
When she's inspired. So it kind of goes more to what I'm saying in that sometimes you just got to really, dig deep because you don't want to go back and do anything similar to what you've done before. You have people saying that they want the old Luda or they want this and that, but I'm still that same person, but I've evolved and grown so much that I want to come out with an album that is true to everything that's going on in my life right now, but still make it great for those individuals who want that old Luda. So it's kind of like merging both of those worlds. So that's what I'm doing. And in the meantime, it's just exploring all different types of art. And I need art like how I breathe air. We all do. And so I'm just one of those individuals that's so curious. Like my curiosity will not allow me to stay to one thing. And so not that I feel like I've 100% conquered music, but what's written in the history books for what Ludacris has done cannot be erased. Yeah. I said it before on a record. I was like, some people may not like the way I shoot, but my points go on the board. So it's like those points are there. That chapter is written. Those millions of records have been sold. Those 3 Grammys are in my house. You know what I mean? Like these are things, and I feel great about the accomplishments. Do I want to accomplish more? Hell yeah. Do I want to do stuff for the culture and the people musically? Absolutely. But I'm finding my truth.
Isn't it harder when you don't have to do it anymore? Because music got to be like the thing that you make money off the least at this point.
Very true. But yes, and that's part of the reason why you take a step back and you have to realize why you love it. And it's not about the money. It's about the passion of it. But to answer your question, that is yet another challenge of it, of when you feel like you don't necessarily have to do it, but you want to do it. And I think the biggest thing is I wouldn't be here, executive producing and hosting Fear Factor if it weren't for the music. That's how everything started. Right. So if it wasn't for the music, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. Fast and Furious movies, hosting, executive producing, anything that I'm doing, it all stemmed from the music. So you have to go back to that. And I promise everybody some phenomenal music very soon.
You know what else is evolving? The way they actually distribute music. And I see you've done a deal. I was reading an article about it with the indie label. I want you to explain how that works, because I was seeing it's something like they only make $19.99 a year off an artist, no matter what level you're at or how many records you sell?
Yeah, it depends on who I was experimenting because I just got out of my Def Jam deal and I just being a free agent and just, I started in the game as an independent artist and I had independent distribution. So it's nothing for me to go back to the foundation that was already laid. And so right now, it's just kind of an experimentation stage of me just being free and exploring the art. And what you're talking about is there are different platforms where they may take only a very small percentage and then you got to put the money up yourself or you have to, market yourself and you have to do certain things. It's a hell of a lot of work. Don't get it twisted. But at least I'm trying to understand both sides of the spectrum because I've seen this side of the spectrum where you get less of the dollar, but they're putting a whole lot of money towards this and other artists and grouping everybody together. And then you look at it from this perspective where you pretty much have to do every damn thing on your own, but you get more of the dollar. And, don't get it twisted. I'm taking meetings with major labels that want to still continue to do something, but I would only do it if it made sense and maybe meet myself somewhere in between because I feel like I'm just getting started, 100%. You know what I mean? I celebrated my birthday not too long ago, and I feel like a new me. I feel better than I've ever felt before. Work out like 6 days a week with 2 different trainers. It's like I've never felt better. So mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything. I feel damn good.
Now you say you rolling around with Nipsey. Why is that? Are you just running into him?
Yeah, because I was just saying, we in New York doing promo. I saw him
right?
Yeah, I saw him I saw him at TRL. I saw him at the All-Star. I keep running into him and I met him a couple times in LA and he's just always extreme, like a really cool dude, real grounded, real down to earth. Dynamic, and I know he's been working on this album for so long. And all I was saying was sometimes it's good to be around that energy of new artists that are coming out with their first album, because you kind of you get to interact with them and you really remind yourself of when you were coming out with your first album and everything that was going on and that hunger and all of that stuff. Like it was crazy to do TRL yesterday because I had been on TRL I don't know how many times when this is back when
numerous times when they play videos.
Exactly, when they played videos.
Back when people watched it.
Right, so to be in the game this long and then to go back on TRL, it was amazing because I'm just like, damn, man, this is how long I've been in the game. And then there are new artists that are coming on that haven't even been on the last one, and this is the first one they've been on. And I'm just blessed, man. I look back at things that I do. Of course, I want to continue to move forward, but sometimes you take that moment to look back on your career and just like, man, I've really done some things and I've covered a lot of damn ground.
Well, one thing Nipsey does that you don't do enough of is talk about his entrepreneurship. Like, you own a lot of things that I don't really hear you brag about. You might every now and then be like, yo, go to the restaurant in the airport.
Right.
But that's not bragging.
Not brag, but just, you know, I think that's inspiring for people.
No, I appreciate it. I draw a fine line when it comes to bragging so much. You know what I mean? I may do it on record here and there, but I'm just not that person that have to over talk about or just constantly pound into somebody's head what I have or what I do. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you gotta remind people what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily talk about the plane all the time, but you know, I still got the plane.
We know.
So before all the fly jet and people renting stuff and taking pictures outside of Zeta Jet and everything that's rented. I mean, humbly speaking, since you bring it up, I own like that. I've owned a plane like for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my uncle is the pilot and has been, and it's I loan the plane out to people sometimes. I know that my man Kevin Lyles just used it, you know, the other day to go to Alabama and Atlanta and back, and you know, 21 Savage uses the plane sometime. It's used for loving hip hop. Like sometimes I rent it out, but for only the people I know.
I was in Grenada.
His DJ got caught in the airport one time, and Luda sent it to pick up the Infamous one time.
I was in Grenada for New Year's Eve, and they was like, "Yeah, Luda just was here with his jet like last week."
Nah, man, I'm glad that you did that too, because the travel is something that I absolutely love to do. We was in Barbados, and we took the short trip to Grenada, and man, it was amazing. And I know you was there. You was doing some extreme cultural. You was looking at everything about the island.
Yeah, you dug deep. Me all over the place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it was dope that you did that though. But yeah, man, I enjoy it, man.
Even your restaurant in the airport, that's a big deal.
Yeah, chicken and beer. That just goes to show how big hip hop is. And again, when I say I take a look back, for it to come from an album to literally a restaurant inside the busiest airport in the world is amazing to me. And it's in Concourse D, and it's doing well. And anybody that this lets you know, because it's at the end of the concourse, so it's not necessarily easy to get to. But if you are stuck or if you have a connecting flight, this is something that you want to do. But I realize the power of hip hop when people don't even have to go to this particular concourse, and they're going in the airport an hour early so that they can go eat at this restaurant. And that means the world to me. Dope. So, you know, it's a destination thing, and I think it's a great thing.
You know what else seems beneficial is that you've had the same team for such a long time.
Absolutely.
And I think that's been really hard for artists to find the right people to work with, because you see people firing managers, trying to find new managers, trying to get a new team of people. And that's one of the hardest things, I think, about being an artist or anything in general, is having the right people around you. So how have you guys managed to maintain that for so long?
You know what's crazy? We've never had a written contract ever. And we we going on almost 20 years. First, wow. they come together. They're a unit. So you don't have to have a separate contract with Jeff and a separate contract with Shaka. That is Ebony's son, ladies and gentlemen. Almost 20 years, no contract. It's because we brothers first, man. It's like, you know, you hear people say you're not supposed to do business with your family, but it's really family. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade them for the world. They my mentors. I talk to them about everything, and the relationship, it just continues to grow. And we've never had any money issues. We just was on the phone yesterday about another deal that's coming, and it's like sometimes money is unexpected. Just from the work we've done over the past 15 years, some things just come out of nowhere. Right. And we just like, man, thank the man upstairs.
Is there anything you regret at all? Because, I mean, you look at your record label, and you had a huge label. People don't talk about it. You had Chingy that sold millions of records. Yeah. You had 2 Chainz at one point. Is there anything?
Play a circle, yeah. Him and Dollar.
Is there anything you regret?
Man, listen, and again, this is not one of those political answers. I am definitely one of those people that don't regret anything that's ever happened in my life, because I 100% believe that everything happens for a reason.
Is there anything you would do over that or do differently?
That's the same answer to that, because you got to take the good with the bad. The failure is a part of success. You know, you got to get up sometimes you get knocked down, you got to get back up. I feel like that's what molded me and made me the person that I am today, period. 100%. I wouldn't change anything.
Now, how did you and Carrie Underwood manage to link up to do a song?
So me and Carrie Underwood, this was, she sent the song, and it was called Champion, and they were talking about it was, you know, being made for the Olympics, and because that was kind of how the song was talking about and the subject matter of it. And she sent me the record, and I was like, I absolutely love it. The one thing that I do like outside of being in the world of hip hop is entertaining songs that are in different genres of music and being a part of them, just because I feel like I'm a very versatile artist. So with that being said, when she sent it to me, I got on it, and next thing you know that it's being used for the Winter Olympics right now, and I'm just happy to again add another song to the resume of features.
So
of
Beyonce
numerous
lifted
features.
the ban on Carrie?
What happened?
Beyonce lifted the ban on Carrie? Carrie's able to work
Oh,
again?
I didn't even know that happened. You have to remind me about that.
Yeah, Beyonce had a ban on Carrie.
What happened, bro?
This guy's lying.
I made that
Ain't no
up.
ban.
Remember
I was
she
like,
made those,
what?
Remember she made those comments about Beyonce and everybody jumped on her. Her career hasn't really been the same since.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I need to do more of my research.
Yeah. Now, I was reading this story. This is an old story, but I always wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah.
Woo Kid said that you kind of contributed to Kanye West's car crash because y'all was in the studio one night and Kanye was trying to impress you, so he rapped for like an hour and you got mad because you just wanted to do your verse and leave, so Kanye kind of left angry, and then a few moments later they heard he got into a car crash.
Okay, so let me say, that was unbeknownst to me that was the same night. And the one thing about me that I can say is that my memory is very, I have a very limited memory of certain things. Like, but that night, I do remember him rapping. I never remember being mad at him for rapping or anything like that because I was honestly impressed with what he was doing. I do remember that night, but I didn't even realize that the car crash happened that same night.
The same night.
But I will say for Who Kid's sake that his memory is probably better than mine. And, I'm not going to say that he lied about anything. I don't remember being upset or mad about it.
Got you.
But I do remember seeing Kanye before, and I remember seeing him after. And the same thing that I said, and I know will hold true for Kanye, is that everything happens for a reason. He wouldn't have made Through the Wire if he didn't go through that car accident, and he may not be as big and great of an artist as he is today if it weren't for that night.
All right.
So, all praise due.
Now, for you, what are some things that you haven't conquered yet that you still want to do?
Haven't conquered yet that I still want to do. I would love to one day win an Oscar because I was in Crash, which was an Oscar-winning movie, and we got Screen Actor Guild Award for Best Cast Ensemble, and we got a Critics' Choice Award. And so I remember telling my mom one day I'm going to come back and I'm going to get an Oscar for Best Male. Now, what I'm saying is, like Morgan Freeman, this may be within the next 40 years from now. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
I'm not saying that I can't grow and evolve as an actor, but I'm here to let y'all know before it's all said and done. That's definitely something that's on my list of things that I would love to conquer. Because I feel like I'm conquering the television executive producer world. I feel like I've, to a degree, conquered music, and movies is something that's 100% something I want to continue to do.
All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us. Fast and Furious 9, when you're going to start shooting that? Did they give y'all a date yet?
Supposedly we're supposed to start shooting next year, and it's supposed to come out 2020.
Okay.
But ask Tyrese that same question. Let's just see what he
Tyrese ain't
said.
getting no script this time. I'm telling y'all.
He going to be good, man. He going to be good. Everything going to be all right.
Fear Factor, February 25th, 7 p.m. Tune in. It's Ludacris. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.